Why you need a credit card to build credit. And this credit is derived from an article that I read, but more importantly, I know it's a question that many people ask. Do I have to have a credit card in order to build credit? And this video will give you the answer and plenty of reasons why you may need a credit card in order to build credit. What up? You got Mr. Smith, point 5 of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and in this brief video I want to talk to you about whether or not you need a credit card in order to build credit. The simple answer is absolutely. Because if you understand all 5 factors, I won't go in too deep on them, but if you understand all 5 factors, then you understand that credit cards are one of the only things that allow you to tap into all 5 of those factors at the same time. So it gives you the ability to use one tool but boost your credit score in 5 areas all at once. Auto loan won't do that, a personal loan won't do that, a mortgage won't do that. But a credit card can do that. So yes, you want to have a credit card. And this is what you got to understand as it relates to credit. It's a game. You got to figure out how many points or how you can go about getting as many points as possible to put on the board. So if you understand that you're just trying to accumulate points, then you'll see the necessity of having a credit card. Why is that important? Because everybody starts off with a 300 credit score. But the credit score can range, the FICO score can range up to 850. So that means that it's 550 points left out on the table. So the goal is to get as many of those 550 points as possible. Well, when you understand how credit is broken down, you understand that payment history contributes to 35% of the score. Translation, 192.5 points come from payment history. So you want to make sure you're getting as many of those points as possible. Now, payment history can come from everything that reports to the creditors, which can be your mortgages, your car notes, your personal loans, your student loans. All of those things can give you good payment history. Phone bills, now streaming services, and rent if you set it up that way. But all of those things can contribute to good payment history. So you want to make sure. And that includes credit cards. But the second factor is credit utilization. And credit utilization is 30% of your score. Translation, 165 points. So my question to you is, if credit is a game and you want to accumulate as many points as possible, why would you leave 165 points on the table? It doesn't make sense. 165 points. So that means you can have all of the other points out of the 550, not have a credit card, which is unlikely that you're going to have all of the other points. So it's important for you to understand what I'm about to say. But if you had all of the the max amount of points in the other areas of the 5 factors, which is the payment history, the payment history, you have no credit utilization, 165 points, but you have the credit history, credit mix, and you wouldn't even have credit mix if you don't have a credit card. So I take that back. So you can have all of the points except for the credit utilization and credit mix, and together that's about 220 points if my math is correct, because credit utilization is 165, and then I believe credit mix is 55 points. So that would equate to 220 points that you leave on the table. 220 subtracted from 550 leaves you with 330. 330 plus the amount that you start off with, which is 300, leaves you with 630. So what does that mean? The max amount of points you can get without a credit card is 630 points. 630 points is the max, but it goes up to 850. So is it worth leaving 165 points on the table? Chances are probably not. So what you have to understand is, how do I go about acquiring those points? And my math may be off somewhere in there, but you understand the point. So getting a credit card is going to be what allows you to tap into getting as many of the 165 points as possible. And the importance of getting as many of those 165 points is because it allows you to tap into all of those other areas, because the credit card taps into payment history, of course, it's credit utilization, and you got to understand how to use the credit card. Keep that balance below 10%. You can use it as much as you want, but at the end of the week or month, before it reports, paying it off in full or at least enough to keep it under the 10% utilization, so you can benefit from those points. Credit cards also help with credit history, because as you build that up over time, your credit history increases. And then in addition to that, it helps with credit mix, because now you have a credit card along with installment loans, personal loans, things of that nature, or credit builder loans, as well as new credit, because it helps you establish your most recent credit history as well. So credit cards check the boxes of all 5 factors. So it's important for you to have a credit card, but it's more important that if you get a credit card that you utilize it properly. Otherwise, it can be very detrimental. Credit cards can be detrimental. It requires discipline. Trust me, we know. We've used credit cards, paid them off, and then like, man, I can't believe we ran up the balance that much, and things of that nature that happen. So we know if it happens to us, it's happened to others as well. But that's not to say you can't bounce back from it. That's just to give you an understanding that credit cards are important when it comes to building your credit. Just use it as a strategy and treat it like a game, so you can accumulate more points that go to your credit score, so you can qualify for the things you want to qualify. Or if you just want, one of my clients told me, I just want the ability to say I got 750 plus points. If you just want it for bragging rights purposes, by all means do it. But be disciplined if you get that credit card, because it is critical that you have one in terms of boosting your credit with the current credit scoring models. That being said, that's all I got. Mr. Smith, signing out. Salute.